Quick demo of this tutorial. In this tutorial, we will discuss how to upload images from Angular 5 application into a Web API project server. So here is the final output of this tutorial. In order to upload an image, you can select the image from this uploader, then corresponding image preview will be shown inside this img control here. You can provide the image caption here and click on submit. So it will be uploaded to Web API project. Corresponding image will be saved inside this image folder in Web API project. Corresponding to the image upload, we will insert a new record in our database here. So from this tutorial, you can learn almost everything related to image upload in Angular 5 with Web API. So please watch till the end of this video tutorial. What's up YouTube? Welcome to .NET Mob. In this video, I will show you how to upload images in Angular 5 with Web API. Before starting this video tutorial, I would like to ask you a favor. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video. If you are new here, please be subscribed to this channel .NET Mob. Without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I want to create an Angular 5 application inside this project folder here. So let me copy this folder path from here, then back to the IDE, then click on File, Open Folder, then paste the path here, hit Enter, click on this Select Folder. In order to create an Angular 5 application, you can use Angular CLI command in your command prompt, or you can use the integrated terminal from this IDE. For that, you can go to View, then Integrated Terminal. In order to create an Angular application, you can use this command ng new, then application name. I will just type it as Angular 5. Hit Enter. It will take some time to complete this process. First of all, it will create an Angular 5 application. After that, it will install some default packages from npm. So here we have successfully created an Angular 5 application. Now let me run this application. For that, first of all, we have to navigate into the project folder Angular 5. Then you can use this command ng serve --open, hit enter. So it will compile this application and open in our default web browser. So this is how the default Angular 5 application looks like. Now I'm going to design this application using materialized CSS. So here it is. Here we have the latest beta version 1.0.0, and here we have the corresponding style sheet and JavaScript references. So I'm going to add these references inside the index.html file here. First of all, I will add two style sheet here. One for materialized CSS, and this is for the material icons. Instead of font over some icon, we will use material icons from Google. And before this body end tag, we have to add two JavaScript reference. So first of all, we have the jQuery library here, and below that we have the JavaScript file for materialized framework. So this jQuery file is a requirement for this materialized CSS JavaScript file. Now first of all, I'm going to start with creating an Angular 5 component. For that, let me open one more terminal here. Then first of all, we have to navigate inside the project folder Angular 5. Then you can use this command ng g for generate c for component. I will name this component as upload image. So here we have successfully created the component inside this app folder upload image. Now let's customize the application design. First of all, as you know, the root component of an Angular application is app component. So here is the corresponding HTML file. I'm going to replace this default HTML with the newly created component selector that you can copy paste from here. Let me copy this and pasting here, and we have to create a tag with this selector. Now let me save this and back to the component HTML here. So here we are going to create a form to upload images. So first of all, we need a div with class container. Inside that, we need another div with class row. It's like the grid system from Bootstrap framework. So first of all, we are going to use the grid classes called as age and we need an offset of 2 columns. So we need to use this class offset-2. Now before the image upload form, I want to show a title like this. So here we have the div with classes from framework materialize CSS. Here we have an h4 header. Inside that we have shown this header image library. Now let's design the form. We don't need this action attribute here. Instead of that, I will add a local reference. Image form is equal to ng form. Inside the form, we need to add some controls. You can see some examples from framework documentation here. So here we have some nice examples for using input controls in our form. So first of all, we need a div with class row. Inside that, we need another div with class input hyphen field, then call s12. Inside that, we need an input text box, input. We can use this text box to enter some caption for this image. So I will give the local reference as caption here. Then we need to give the ng model attribute here, and we have to set the name attribute as caption here. And I will set the same as the id attribute also, caption. Now let's add a label for this input text box, label, and we have to set this for attribute as the same id as that of this text box, and I will set the text as caption here. Now below this caption text box, we need an image uploader like this. So here we have the input, type will be file, and here we have given a local reference image accept attribute as image/star. So we can only upload images using this input file control. Before this image uploader, I want to show an img control to show the preview of uploaded or selected image. So here we have the img control, and here we have given some width and height for this img control. Sorry, here we have to move these controls related to image uploader out of this div row. So here it is. And finally, we need a submit button. So here it is, button. Type of this button will be submit. Okay, then we have to give some classes from the framework, btn hyphen large, then btn hyphen submit, and inside this button we have to give this text submit. So here we have completed with a form with file upload. Now in order to work this form, we have to import forms module inside the app module.ts file here. We need to add this forms module class inside this imports array here. Let me save all of these modifications and back to the application here. So here is the text box to enter captions, and here we have an img control to show preview of image uploaded through this image uploader. Now we want to show a default image inside this default img control. For that, I will add a property inside the TypeScript file upload image component. Image URL, it's of the type string. Now we have to initialize this property with a default path. For that, I'm going to add a new folder inside this assets folder here. New folder, I will name this folder as img. I want to save a default image inside this img folder. For that, I will drag this image from my desktop and dragging and dropping inside this img folder here. Now I'm going to initialize this property with the new image path. So here it is, assets folder. Inside that we have img folder. Inside that we have default image.png. I'm going to add the src attribute here. Src is equal to image URL. Let me save and back to the application here. So here we can see the default image. Now when we select an image using this image uploader, we want to show the particular image preview inside this img controller. For that, back to the IDE here, inside this TypeScript file, I'm going to add one more property here. I will name the property as file to upload, and it's of the type file. And back to the HTML, I'm going to add one onChange event for this img control. So here it is. Here we have the event change, and we will call this function handle file input. Into that function we have passed this event target files. That means selected file will be passed through this function parameter. Now we have to define this function inside the TypeScript file here. For this function we have a single parameter file. It's of the type file list. File list. First of all, I will set this property with the selected image. So we can do this. This dot file to upload is equal to file dot item function can be called. Inside that we will pass 0, so we will get the first image. Now in order to show the selected image preview, we can do this. First of all, we will create an object of file reader, and here we have implemented onload event for this reader. Inside that we have set this image URL property with the corresponding selected image URL. In order to call this event, we have to call this function read as data URL. So inside this property we will have the virtual URL of the selected image. Using that, we will show the image inside this img property here. So here we have to move this event into this input file control. Okay, now let me save all of these modifications and back to the application here. Now select an image for upload. You can see the same image inside this img control. Now let's deal with form validation. These two fields, caption and this image, are mandatory. For that, we can add required attribute to this caption text box. Required attribute won't work with this input file control. For that, we have to look for another strategies. So when this form as a whole is not valid, we will disable this submit button. For that, we can add disabled attribute for this submit button here. This button will be disabled when this image uploader control does not have an image for upload, or this form as a whole is not valid. Image form means this form. Here we have the local reference for this form. So this form won't be valid whenever this caption text box is empty. Now let's try that. Let me save these files here and back to the application here. Initially you can see that this submit button is disabled already. Now if I try something inside this text box, you can see that this button won't work. Let me clear this caption text box and try to select an image for upload here. Still submit button is not enabled. In order to enable this submit button, both of these fields must have a value. Okay, so here it is. Now let's check how we can post files or images from Angular 5 to a server. For that, we need to create a Web API project. So here we have my Visual Studio IDE. In order to create a Web API project, you can click on this new project here, then select web under Visual C#, then select ASP.NET Web Application. I will name this application as Web API, then select a folder for this project, then click on OK. Then select Web API, keep other options as it is, click on OK. So here we have successfully created the Web API project. Now in order to run this application without debug, you can hold Control then press F5. Now inside this Web API project, we will create a Web API method to post image files from this Angular 5 application. Now, in order to communicate with these two projects, we have to enable CORS inside this Web API project. It will allow requests from another website which is hosted in different port number or different domain. So in this case, we have two different ports. So we have to enable CORS inside this Web API project. For that, we have to install some NuGet packages. Select the Web API project, then go to Tools, then Library Package Manager, then Package Manager Console. Now, in order to install the package, you can use this NuGet command. Commands used inside this video tutorial are given in video description. You can copy paste from there. So let's install the package. Now let me build this project again and back to the application. Here some of you may get this problem. So here we have a version problem with WebApi.Core and WebApi.Cors package. In order to resolve this problem, we have to install the latest version of Web API. For that, first of all, we have to execute this command: update package Microsoft.AspNet.WebApi reinstall. After that, we have to install the latest package Web API Core. Hit enter. I have given these three commands in video description. You can copy paste from there. Finally, we have to build this solution. Then back to the application, reload this page. Now everything works as expected. Now we have to configure this Web API project in order to accept requests from this port number 4200. For that, you can go to this folder, app start, then open this file, webapi.config.cs file. Then we have to use this line. In order to work this line, we have to add the required namespace. So here it is, system.web.http.cors. So it will allow requests from the local host 4200. In order to upload the selected image inside this Web API project, we have to create a Web API method. For that, let me create a new controller here. Right click on controllers folder, then add controller. Then select Web API to controller empty. I will name this controller as image controller. Click on add. Now let me create a new Web API method here. So here it is, upload image, and it's of the type HTTP post, and here we have the corresponding route. Now in order to save the details of image name and caption provided inside this text box, we need to have a database. So here is my management studio. Let's create a new database. For that, right click on databases, then click on new database. I will name this DB as image library. Click on OK. Inside the database, I want to create a new table. Right click on tables, then new table. First of all, we have image ID. It's of the type integer. Then we have image name. It will be varchar 50. Then we have image caption. It will be varchar 50. Now I want to make this image ID column as the primary key. So right click on it, then set primary key. I want to make the same column as an identity for this table. So we can go to the column properties, then expand identity specification, then set is identity as yes. In order to save this table, you can use the shortcut Control S. I will name this table as image. Click on OK. Now we have to add an ADO.NET entity model into this Web API project. For that, right click on models folder here, then add new item. Select data from the left panel, then select ADO.NET entity data model. I will name this model as DB models. Click on add. Select generate from database. Click on next. Now click on new connection. Here we need to provide the SQL Server instance details. So for me it is local /SQLE 2012. And from this drop down, we have to select the database image library. Click on OK. After creating this entity model, there will be a class with this name. In order to interact with this database, we have to create an object of this class. So I'm going to edit the class name here as DB model. Click on next. Click on next. From this model wizard window, we have to select the database objects that we need to add in our entity model. In this case, I will select this image table, then click on finish. So here we have successfully created the entity model. This is how the diagrammatic representation of entity model looks like. Now back to the image controller. Now inside this web API method, we have to upload image that's sent from this Angular 5 application into this web API folder image. I have created this folder just to upload images from this Angular application. After saving the image into this image folder, we have to insert a new record containing details of image name and caption from this text box into the database that we have just created. For that, we can make use of the entity model class image here. So let's look how we can do that. First of all, I will declare two local variables like this. Here we have the string image name. After that, we have HTTP request. For that, we have to use the namespace system.web. So inside this, we will store the current request. Okay. After that, we have to upload the image. Okay. Upload image. For that, we can use this code here. First of all, we will save that image inside this posted file image name property. Inside that, first of all, we will store the image name. For that, first of all, we have to use the namespace system.io. So here we will take the first 10 characters from the image name and we will replace the white space with hyphen in that image name. After that, we will append the date time string to this image name in order to avoid the repetition in file name. After that, we have appended the file extension here. So inside this image name property, we have the custom image name in order to avoid repetition in image name inside this image folder. And here we have the complete path for that image. Instead of images, we have image folder. Inside that, we will store the image with this custom file name. And here we will save that image into this image folder here. After all, we have to insert a new record containing image name and caption text. For that, we can do this. For that, here we have an using statement. Inside that, we have created an object of DB model class. Here we have created an object of image class, and here we have populated details from the text box, caption text box, and here we have the uploaded image name. And using these two lines, we will insert the new record. Finally, we will return the status code 2.1 indicating record is created. So here we have done with Web API project. Now back to Angular 5 application. In order to post data from this form into this Web API method here, we have to wire up a function for ngSubmit event. So back to the component HTML file here. Now let's add an ngSubmit event. We will call this onSubmit function. Inside that we have passed local reference for this caption text box and for this file uploader. Now let's define this function inside the component TypeScript file here. onSubmit, inside that we have two parameters, caption and image. Now in order to consume this Web API method here, I'm going to add a service class inside this Angular 5 application. In order to create a service class, I will create a new folder here, shared. Inside that, we can create the service class. Right click on it, then open in command prompt. In order to create a service class, you can use this command ng, g for generate, s for service. I will name the service class as upload image. Hit enter. So here we have successfully created the service class upload image service. So first of all, we have to inject HTTP client inside the service class. For that, first of all, open app module.ts file. Here we need to import HTTP client module first. So here we have added the import statement for HTTP client module, then add the same class inside this imports array here. Now back to the service class, I will add an import statement for HTTP client class. Now we have to inject the class here, private HTTP It's of the type HTTP client class. For time being, I will copy paste the code here. Here we have a function post file. Inside that we have two parameters, caption string and file to upload. First of all, we have created an endpoint. Inside that we have the URI for this web API method here, upload image. Okay, and let me run this application here. For that, hold Control then press period. Now let's copy this port number from here and let's edit this URL here. After that, we have created a form data object. Here we have appended file to be uploaded in our web API project, and here we have the caption text from our caption text box. We will call the post function from HTTP client object. Here we have the URI, here we have the post data. Now we can call this function from our TypeScript component file here. For that, first of all, we have to inject this upload image service class inside this component here. So let me add this class inside this component providers array here. Now let's add the import statement. Now we have to add a private parameter inside the constructor. I will name it as image service. It's of the type upload image service. Now inside the submit function we can do this dot image service dot post file. Inside this function call we have to pass the corresponding field values. For caption text we can do this caption dot value. As a second parameter we have to pass the image to be uploaded. For that we have to pass this property. We have set the image inside this property file to upload in change event of file uploader. So instead of retrieving the selected image from this image control object, we are going to pass that value from this property here. Now we can subscribe to that returned response here. Inside the subscribe function I will add an arrow function with a single parameter data, and here we have the function body. First of all, I will log an indication this upload is done. After that we have to clear this form controls, this text box and file uploader here. Okay, we have to clear these two controls. For that I will do this caption dot value is equal to null, and we have to do the same for the image controller also. So let me copy this and pasting here and replacing this caption with image. Okay, all set. Now let me save all of these modifications and back to the application here. Now let me try to upload an image from my desktop. So I will select this image, caption text will be toy, click on submit. So this form is reset to its initial state. That means everything works as expected. While we reset these controls, this text box and file uploader, we have to reset this preview img control also. That we can do in a bit. Now let's verify the previous post data. The image should be saved inside this image folder. You can see that image from this solution explorer. We have to check that inside the folder. So here we have the image with custom name that we have created here. Okay, and we have to see the corresponding record inside the table here. Right click on it, then select top 1000 rows. So here we have the image caption and here we have the image name. Now let's reset this img control also. For that we can do this inside the component TypeScript file here. We can do this. We'll copy this text from here. Then let's do this. This dot img URL is equal to default img path. Now let me save this and back to the application here. Now let's try to upload one more file here. Click on this choose file. Then I will select this one. Image caption will be something from my childhood. Click on submit. Now everything works as expected. So that's it guys. In this video we have discussed how to upload images in Angular 5 with Web API. You can download this project source code from the link given below in video description. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video. For awesome videos like this, please be subscribed to this channel .NET Mob. Please like and share this video with your friends and colleagues so that they can benefit from this. Have a nice day. Bye.